In the autumn of 2013, a French archaeologist named Pierre Thalès was working along a remote stretch of the Red Sea coast, far from the tourist roads, far from the famous monuments. He was excavating a set of man-made galleries cut into the rock, ancient storerooms that had been closed up with heavy blocks of limestone. When he broke the seals and went inside, he realized that no one had stood in that darkness for 4,500 years. And there, on the floor, was papyrus. Hundreds of fragments of it. The oldest inscribed papyrus ever found anywhere on Earth. Now, you might expect documents that old to be sacred. A hymn to a god. A prayer for the dead. A royal proclamation carved to last for eternity. They were none of those things. What Talit had found was a work diary. The day-to-day logbook of an ordinary man simply doing his job. His name was Mera. In the language of our own time, he was a middle manager. And the project he was managing was the Great Pyramid of Giza. For the first time in history, we could read the words of a man who helped build it. Not a pharaoh, not a priest, a working supervisor, recording his deliveries, counting off his days, keeping his crew on schedule, never once suspecting that his paperwork would outlive his civilization. So over the next 30 minutes, we are going to do something most pyramid documentaries never do. We are going to follow the evidence, not the legends. We will find out what we genuinely know, what remains a real and specific mystery, and why the true answers are stranger than any theory you have ever been told. But first, we need to clear away 200 years of spectacular nonsense. Start with the oldest story of all, that the pyramids were built by slaves. Hundreds of thousands of them driven under the lash, dying so that one king could have his tomb. It is a powerful image, and it is worth understanding why it endured for so long. The source is the Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt around 450 BC, more than 2,000 years after the Great Pyramid was finished. He was told and faithfully wrote down that 100,000 men had labored there in misery. The story was repeated for the next 2 millennia, and the cinema gave it pictures, whips, chains, suffering on an industrial scale. Then, in 1990, a tourist riding near the plateau was thrown when a horse stumbled on a low mud brick wall. That wall turned out to be a tomb. Behind it lay an entire cemetery, the graves of the people who actually built the pyramids, laid out in the very shadow of the monuments themselves. These were not the burials of slaves. The workers were laid to rest with honor, with bread and beer for the afterlife, within sight of their king, a privilege no enslaved laborer would ever have been granted. Their skeletons tell the rest. Many bones show healed fractures, set and mended by skilled hands. This was a workforce that received real medical care, and it was fed remarkably well. By the reckoning of the archaeologist Zahi Hawass, some 21 cattle and 23 sheep were delivered to the site every single day. Enough meat to keep a small town in beef and mutton. And the diary of Mera supplies the detail the bones cannot. These were crews that were organized, rotated, and provisioned by the state. Their deliveries logged in careful columns by a man whose job was to account for them. That is not the record of a slave camp. It is the paperwork of an employer. The second myth is more modern and in its way more flattering to us, that the pyramids are simply too perfect, too vast, too precise to be the work of human hands alone. That someone or something must have helped. The appeal is easy to understand. The Great Pyramid contains well over 2 million blocks, each weighing on average more than a family car. Its sides are aligned to the points of the compass with an accuracy that would test a modern surveyor. Stand at the base, look up, and the notion that ordinary people did this with rope and muscle can feel almost impossible. But the evidence points relentlessly back to human beings. Mera's diary sets out the supply chain in plain bookkeeping. Boats, canals, quarries, delivery schedules. A logistics operation, not a miracle. Some scientists have pressed the case further. In a peer-reviewed paper in the Journal of the American Ceramic Society, the materials scientist Michel Barsoum of Drexel University argued that certain rocks, particularly near the summit, may not have been carved at all, but cast, a kind of early concrete poured into molds. It remains a minority view and a much disputed one. But notice what even that bold claim implies. Not alien machinery, but human chemistry, 4,500 years ahead of its time. And where the eye cannot reach, physics now does the looking. Researchers have begun imaging the pyramid's interior using cosmic ray particles without lifting a single stone. Every serious instrument we own points the same way, toward people. And here is a small puzzle worth holding on to. For all the millions of tons of cut stone on the plateau, almost none of the tools that shaped it have ever been found. We will come back to that. The third myth is the quietest and the hardest to dislodge. The belief that, when all is said and done, we simply have no idea how the pyramids were built. It sounds humble, it sounds reasonable, and it is almost entirely wrong. We know a great deal. We know who built them, paid, organized Egyptian crews. We know when to within a few years. We know where the stone came from, how it traveled, what the workers ate, where they slept, and how the whole enterprise was administered day by day. The honest position was never that the pyramids are a total mystery. It is that the mystery is specific. A handful of genuine questions remain about exactly how the heaviest stones were raised and about what may still lie sealed inside. Those questions are real, and we will come to each of them, but they are narrow, sharp, and answerable. That is a very different thing from knowing nothing at all. The workers were not slaves. They were not alien-assisted. They were, in fact, some of the best paid and best fed laborers in the ancient world. And we know this because one of them kept a diary. Imagine for a moment that you are Mira. It is around 2560 BC. The man who rules your world is Khufu, not merely a king, but a living god whose word reorders rivers and raises mountains of cut stone. And you work for him. Your title, in the careful script of your trade, is Inspector. Under your command are some 200 men, a small fleet of wooden boats, and a schedule that does not bend for weather, for fatigue, or for you. Your task sounds simple. It is not. You must carry fine white limestone from the quarries at Tura on the far bank of the Nile, across the open water and along a network of canals, to the foot of a building site unlike anything the world has ever seen. There, the last gleaming skin of the Great Pyramid is being fitted into place, block by block, course by course. The stone you deliver is the stone that people will still be looking at 4,500 years from now. Your life runs on a cycle of 10 days. At Tura, you load your boats, perhaps 30 blocks to a vessel, 70 or 80 tons of limestone, the weight of a dozen elephants riding low on the river. You make the passage to Giza, a journey of 2 to 3 days through channels that were cut, dredged, and maintained by the state. You unload your cargo at a busy harbor the records call Rashi Khufu, a port that today lies silent and buried beneath the desert sand. You turn the boats around, and you begin again. 10 days later, you do it once more. From the river, on a clear morning, you can see it, the pyramid itself, rising on the plateau ahead, already taller than anything human beings have ever built. Its white casing catching the early light where your stone has been set in place. You are not its architect. You will never be named in any temple or painted on any wall. You are a logistics man, a mover of cargo, one link in a chain of tens of thousands. And yet, without men like you, without the boats arriving on time and fully loaded, 10 days in and 10 days out, the thing on the horizon does not get built at all. And here is the detail that changes everything. You write it all down. Mera's diary is not a tale of adventure. It is a logbook, dry, repetitive, exact. Day by